Hello and welcome to Stampin' by Hannah. Thank you for joining me today for another one of our Christmas countdown projects. Today we are using White Christmas, which is one of the stamp sets that's carried over from last year's Autumn Winter catalogue into our new annual catalogue. There are a few stamp sets that have carried over, and we do have Christmas back in the annual catalogue, which is fab. But as well, if you're watching this on Sunday the 30th of August, which is when it goes live, the new Autumn Winter catalogue is released on Tuesday, which is the 1st of September. It is awesome. If you want one and haven't already received one, click in the down bar below, go over to my website, and there is a request a catalogue button, and I will send you out, providing you live in the UK, completely for free. So, onto the card. I am inking up the Fabulous Trees with StazOn ink today because I'm going to do a bit of watercolouring. And StazOn works fabulously well for watercolour because it is an alcohol based ink, so it doesn't run. If you used a water-based ink for watercolour, the ink would run, and you won't get that lovely crisp stamped image. This stamp I've used with StazOn ink before, and I just like to wipe the excess off with the baby wipe. Just to get it a bit cleaner, because StazOn will ruin your photopolymer stamps after a while. So I've stamped those trees. I'm going to stamp the little polar bear, and I've got a piece of post-it tape here that I'm going to stamp the polar bear on as well to make a lovely little mask. So I'm going to ink the polar bear up in Memento to stamp onto the post-it tape, and then I'm going to ink it up again in StazOn to stamp it onto my project. I don't know why I used the Memento for the other bit, I don't know. I can't remember. There must have been a reason, but I can't remember what it was. And we're going to stamp that lovely polar bear. I've then cut out quite a bit of this video because I did actually film myself fussy cutting the polar bear, and it was 2 minutes of very boring video, so I've cut that, I've cut my polar bear mask out, and this post-it tape is it's sticky all the way over so that it sticks completely to the cardstock. And I'm going to use my largest clear block, which is Stampin' Up E block, here just as a palette for my ink. So I've got some Soft Sky ink, there we go, Soft Sky ink, that I'm going to just open and put the ink straight onto that block. I'm putting quite a bit of ink on that block there, and add some water to it so that we get a nice soft sky coloured watercolour. And I've got a large sized or a large-ish round paintbrush here that I've had forever. I wish I could remember where I got them from. I do not know. I'm just checking my brush is clean, that's what I'm doing here. And I do need some new ones. I keep meaning to go and go to the craft store or the art supply store and get some new paintbrushes, because I am doing quite a bit of watercolour at the moment. So I'm going to carefully, because although I've got that mask on that polar bear, I don't want to encourage the water underneath it. So I'm just going to put that watercolour around the polar bear and along that kind of snow line, because I don't want the bottom of the card to have soft sky ink on it. That would be a bit weird. I'm just really haphazardly just getting that colour on. There is no kind of right or wrong way of doing this. Literally just putting that ink onto that cardstock. It's really subtle, and it's really subtle. If you look on the pictures again, links in the down bar below, it's quite actually difficult to see on the photographs that there is a wash of soft sky there. You can see it really well in real life, but it's still just a subtle hint of a colour. It's not anything too much. So I'm going to wipe off my clear block with my microfiber cloth, because I use my microfiber cloth for everything. You would be sick to death of seeing it by now. And I'm going to remove that mask from the polar bear, and I'm going to colour the trees. And I made a bit of a mistake colouring trees. I'm just pointing out that I can use that mask again. So, colouring the trees, and I have a couple of top tips for this. One, make sure that soft sky is dry first. Don't do what I've done. You will see me make a couple of mistakes, but we'll get there. I've got some Tip Top Taupe that I'm just popping on that block and adding quite a bit of water to it. And I've got a very skinny brush here to do my trees with. And I'm really carefully adding this to the trees. And I don't know how well you're going to see this on video, but it bleeds. Because that soft sky background is still wet, yeah, you can see it's bleeding. So I've tapped it off, dabbed it away, and I'm going to dry it with my heat tool. Yeah, there, I've dried that nice little... That was me drying it. As I'm sure I didn't film me drying, because nobody wants to stand there and watch somebody dry something with a heat tool, do they? So I'm adding a bit more Tip Top Taupe to the trees. And now it's not bleeding quite so much. There's still a little bit of bleed, and that's just because I've got far too much water on my paintbrush. But it's not bleeding anywhere near as much as it did before. But I like colouring the trees in. It just adds that little bit more depth. If you don't colour the trees are then all blue, the same as the sky, and it doesn't. You just need something to break it up a little bit. So I'm just going to wipe that ink off that block before I put my fingers in it, and move on, just dabbing off the excess colour there. Yeah, there you go, you can see where it's bled. And we're going to add a sentiment, I think, next. It's been a while since I've filmed this. I should have done the voiceover sooner after filming it, but it's been so busy. There we go. I've got Santa's Gifts, and I'm going to use this Lots of Love at Christmas sentiment from Santa's Gifts. I love this stamp set. There is another one of these Christmas countdowns that I've already posted that uses this stamp set, and I think it's fabulous. So I'm using my Memento black to stamp that sentiment. I could have used Stays On, but like I said, because Stays On and photopolymer stamps don't get on very well, I prefer to use Memento when I'm not doing watercolour with my photopolymer. So I've got a card base here of Soft Sky, and hunting for my bone folder, there it is. And just making my card base, that's sort of half a piece of A4, cut in half and folded in half to form my card base. And that would be pretty, but I just thought we would add a mat of Pear Pizzazz underneath. So my Pear Pizzazz is cut half a centimetre shorter and narrower than my card base, and the watercolour piece is cut half a centimetre shorter and narrower than that. My snail adhesive ran out, of course, as it always does, but I thought I would leave this in. This is real life card making when I do these videos with a voiceover. And I thought I would show you just how quick and easy they are to change. So brand new snail adhesive, take that cardboard piece out, snap it back in, and it's ready to go. Really quick. Just taking that carrier sheet off that last bit of adhesive off the previous roll. And just remember to fold the tab back to get your adhesive to run. So just lining that up. I use my grid paper a lot to help me line things up, because there's always a straight edge. And I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of this Pear Pizzazz piece. And there's a brand new packet of those as well. All of my adhesives are all starting to run out together. I need a new Tombow, I need some new snail, I need some new Stampin' Dimensionals. I have a massive order going in really soon when I film this, so it will have already come in by the time you watch it. But I think I might need to put another one in just for adhesives, but shh, don't tell James, will you? So just 5 dimensionals on the back. I always add one into the middle just to keep that middle from sagging. And oh, my screen's gone black. Well, there we go. Not move the mouse for 15 minutes or something. So pop that card straight onto the card base, and then to finish it off I have a packet of Subtle's candy dots that I'm just hunting for. There we go. That I actually lost the original packaging before it disappeared, so they're actually on the back of a different packet of candy dots, but they're all in there together. And I'm just going to pick out 3 of the soft sky ones, and the soft sky and pool party in this packet, and they're next to each other, and I've got to say sometimes it's quite difficult to tell the difference, so I always compare them to a piece of cardstock before I pull them off. And there we have my Christmas countdown project for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and click the subscribe button in the down bar below